Before we start with today's video, I'd just like to say thank you to everybody who's subscribed so far and everybody who's made a comment. You've all been absolutely fantastic and I really do appreciate the support. However, 80% of you that watch the channel not subscribed. So if you could do us a massive favour, just hit the subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. All the support I can get just helps me a little bit closer to the end goal, which is finishing the project. Alright, so if you don't mind, please, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. Okay, thanks a lot. Let's get on with the video. I think we've got to turn the Thunderbird music off, copyright and all that. Hello everybody, hope you're doing well. Right, weather today has been absolutely fantastic, honestly, really nice out there today. Okay, so where are we now? If you'd watched the previous video, you would have seen me do all the wiring in the dashboard, so that's all done, that's all taken care of. Hopefully I'll first fire up, you know, I'm not going to melt anything, but you know, we have to wait and see. But we're going to crack on with doing the wiring front to rear. Alright, we've gotten the wires out ready to go. We're going to be starting at putting the wiring through the boot and then running it up to the front of the vehicle, and I'll show you what we've got to deal with on the way, sort of thing. But I can't start the video without picking up where we left off, which was the last switch that I was waiting on delivery. So we've got that, and we'll show you that now, and then we'll crack on with showing you where the wire is going in from the rear to the front. Okay, let's get on with that. Okay, so like you say, the last switch that we were waiting on was, we've got the focus, the window wiper switch. There it is, it's in. It's the 4-terminal version, and as you can see, blue, brown there, and we turn it around and we've got pink and green, and the next one is the red and green, and that is that complete. So we can now just pop that in, and there we are. After a bit of a fight, it's in. Onto the wiring. Right, so I've already made the start feeding the wire through the boot of the car. Okay, so that'll be going down there, and then underneath, and from there, what we've got is the cable itself, and it needs to go through this cross member here. As you can see, there and on the other side, right, we need to put in some new grommets. So the only way I can get these grommets to fit is to slice them, put them on the existing cable and thread that through. We'll thread that through first. Let's get all this in, and then we'll just sort out fitting the cable properly so as it goes up to the front end. And if you give us a couple of minutes, I'll just get that done. I'll show you what the results look like in just a minute. Okay. Right, well, thankfully the wiring that runs front to rear is nowhere near as complicated as what we've done behind the dashboard. Alright, so here's our cable, and like I say, I've pushed it in from the boot area first and run that up to the front. We'll have a look at that in just a sec, but going over to where the reverse lights are and the tail lights. Alright, I'm just going to go around the car, just show you that. Okay, so there we go, from outside just drilled a hole in there, and I know it runs along this area here, okay, but I'm gonna get that nice and tight onto the body there, so as it doesn't move. I think it's just a little bit neater if you run it in there, and there's less to snag, if you know what I mean. And I might just put some kind of a covering over that just to make sure that it's absolutely secure. Okay, so, and then down the back we've got, these is what will be going into the rear lights. Okay, we've also got the cable for the fuel sender. All right, and the wiring there is your green and black and your solid black, and that goes into the sender on the side of the fuel tank once that's fitted back in. Okay, these two little wires here, they are for your number plate lights, okay, which they will come through there. The one that I've just missed out is the reverse light, and that's that one. The little block there will clip into the back of the reverse light, and away we go with that. Okay, it runs along. We've got an earthen wire there, another connection for the number plate light, and then we finish up over on this side where we've got another block. I don't know if you can see that, but it's just down there. There's another block for the reverse light and the wire in there to go into the rear light cluster. Okay, so let's go back underneath the car. Right, so we've got the cable, like I say, that's coming from there at the back of the boot down here, and this black and white cable, okay, that is for your fuel pump. Okay, back up, like I say, that little section there goes through that cross member all the way up to the front and into our engine. So here is the end of our wiring there. Now what we have to do is connect that onto our wires there that come off from the, let's just get that to focus, that'll come off from the front wire and in behind the dash, and we will do that now. Okay, so here we have our wire, like I say, that's been running front to rear, and it is really simple. We're just putting the corresponding wires, such as example, that's a solid white, back into the twin whites there. We've got the black and white cable, right, going back into another black and white cable, the green and white going into the twin green and white, and so on and so forth. So you've got that, your two red wires there, two single red wires, and yeah, they go in there, the red and green, the twin red and green. All right, now then, the one thing that we are not going to wire it up is this little number here, okay, because this is a separate cable entirely. This is the gearbox overdrive wiring. All right, so on this cable, the front to rear cable, we've got a red and green overdrive wiring. We've got the red and green. We've got, coming off the main wiring harness that we've put behind the dashboard, a single green, right, solid green there, and there is our solid green off the overdrive wiring harness, and there we have a red and yellow, and this is the only one that kind of changes colour, because that yellow one there, that is for the overdrive switch, and that is the corresponding wire for that. I have checked the wiring diagram, and it is correct. The red and yellow goes to the solid yellow of the overdrive switch. So they will be put back on only when I reinstall the gearbox, because this end of the cable here has to go into the overdrive switches on the actual gearbox itself, and then I can fit that coming from the gearbox area down here, all the way into the wiring. Okay, so that's your wiring front to rear complete. Not a lot else I can tell you really. So what are we going to do next? I think I'm going to put some brake lines in. Okay, we'll do that. We'll put the brake lines in, or at least make a start on putting the brake lines in. So let's get on with that, shall we? Right, we're going to save the brake lines for our next video, and I think we'll end the rewiring of the vehicle here. I don't think there's any more I can do until obviously I keep going through it and maybe stumble across something else that might need doing. But yeah, in the meantime, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like what you see, please hit the old subscribe button. It does help me, you know, motivate myself to get things moving along, obviously to achieve the final aim, which is to get the car on the roads. But like I say, thanks again, really appreciate it, and I'll see you all in the next one. All right, take it easy, bye for now.